Good morning, everybody. John Spielka here with GAI Insights. I have Luda Kopakina, Adam Rappaport, and we're bringing you our Gen AI news briefing, rating news, your top news, essential, important, optional. All right, trying to save you time, trying to give you thoughts. All right, we've got interesting set of articles this morning. If Luda, if you could give us the first one here. We've got this new generation of AIs with brought to us by our friend Ethan Mollick, always a popular author here, and is one useful thing. If you scroll down, Luda, you see he's making the point of, well, first of all, these two things are very interesting, and these are instances of images that are created by very simple instructions and actually create animations to explain some of the instructions that he had. If you go down farther, he has a nice analysis of keep going down if you would. Nice analysis. Well, here's the two power laws, which are the power laws of inference as well as the power laws of the power laws of training as well as the power laws of post-training inference. And just keep going down a little farther. I just want to get to the cost diagram. Yeah, this one here, basically showing that to have 1 million tokens that are at the performance of GPT 3.5 used to cost $50, or GPT-4 now costs 12 cents. So interesting. What do you think? I think we have Adam, you on this one? It was with you, Luda. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for doing an overview. That's really cool. I put it as important or essential, actually. I think Ethan here has, and he most of the time, he steps back and kind of presents the news in a way that is understandable, but also with an interesting angle, like what he's doing here. So he's essentially saying, look at, we have Grok 3, we have Claude 3.7 having quite a bit of capabilities that we haven't seen before. And he's experimenting, showing those two laws of scaling and explaining them. And I think it is very important for our leaders to understand what's happening. And it kind of puts it in perspective, especially with this chart of cost and performance. So I think it is an important piece of work.
Well, important or essential?
Essential. Yes, okay. I really think it should be read. Yeah, it's small and it has a lot of tidbits here. Essential.
All right, Adam. I know in the pre-game show here, you were going optional here. What do you think?
No, I was important actually. I took a closer look. Ethan sort of has two modes, I find. And one of them, he actually does really deep analysis and is tremendously insightful. And not as a criticism to his other mode, but his other mode is very much forward-looking and sort of taking his wealth of knowledge to consider what might be. And this is the former, and it's really well done and provides, as Luda said, a lot of really valuable insights. Even just to take away the message that there are models out there that really are at a next level now, and that were trained either on a level of compute that's never been trained on before with Grok 3, or that have these reinforcement learning capabilities integrated at a scale that we've never seen before in the post training. So that alone would probably warrant it as an important. And then with what Luda's saying in terms of the other insights, and particularly around the cost and the scaling laws, I think I could support essential as well.
All right, Paul, we're heading for the Big E early on a Wednesday.
I'm a fan of Ethan. I'm on important here. You know, I just remain concerned about AI absorption. I literally, this fits in with everything's getting faster, cheaper, better for the AI leader. What do we literally want the AI leader to do? To go ask for double budget, or to switch models? So I think it's important, but not essential for that reason.
Yeah, I'm not there. I have faith in their ability to grok down new stuff and make a decision. So I think we're gonna head for essential on this one.
Adam, thanks for voting. I'm in Russia. Thanks for voting.
What? So you have two essential. This is democracy.
Yeah.
Not that I'm always there for
It's
democracy.
two. It's two.
It's 3 against 1, 2.5 against 1.5.
So,
Yeah,
Paul, I would say the following to what you just said. I agree with you. However, what stands out here that you should not marry a model or two models. You should stay as much as possible independent because of the scaling laws and because of the cost. So cost chart, right? So this is the critical, and we've been saying it, right? But yet we'll look at some articles where they were using the use cases where they were using 3.5, right? ChatGPT 3.5, that will be very difficult to jump off of, right? So, and other tools on top of their stack got them settled essentially, and that's dangerous.
It's a great article, Luda. I'm not that one chart in particular wonderful. So,
Okay.
all righty, we're going essential. All right, Ethan, rings a bell one more time here. All right, next we have this. I kind of thought this was cute. This article is written with two prompts and then the response after the prompts as the article. So I thought that was. I haven't seen that format in terms of how we actually do articles. So that was kind of fun. What do you
Definitely
think
written
here,
by
Adam?
the robot.
Yeah, but also throwing the prompt in front of the robot, so now I guess the new human contribution is the prompt, and as long as you put the prompt in, that's what you're actually writing, and who cares? The robot will take care of the actual prose. All right, Adam, what do you think?
So a little bit more detail about what the news is here. So there is a new model from Qwen, which is their thinking model, and it's the QWQ Max, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there we go. And there's a ton of great demos on there to showcase the various capabilities. But I actually went to the Qwen site and logged in and took a look, and it is really quite a capable interface. It has a lot of what you would expect from OpenAI or from Grok or Anthropic, and it really is offering what all of them do. And phenomenal on top of that it is open source, and that they have like a wide array from the multimodal vision models to the more powerful thinking models. So I think it's important for people to understand that this is out there. I'm not sure at an enterprise level how much this is actually seeing adoption, or if it's really going to have an impact or an influence on their decision making or their strategic direction. So it's a pretty cool piece of news, but I'm probably between optional and important for our audience.
All right, we're sitting at the middle here. What do you think, Luda?
Optional. It's cool. I don't know if I hit this button whether it would still talk, meaning sound wise. But it's really the fast, how it goes really fast, and it codes on the very small prompt. It creates code in seconds, and then it can run it. So it's fascinating, but I think it's optional.
All right, Paul, we're heading for optional.
Yeah, no, I'm optional. I think it's in the everyday miracle column. This is commoditization of these reasoning models and speed. That's also breathtaking here. So, and I think it also reinforces how the speed is critical in this industry. And as AI leader, you got to realize that the leaders are extending their lead from the laggards. So you can't be a fast follower, slow follower, and think suddenly we're just going to go catch up. And this is one of the many examples of that on the technical side.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think some stuff that Ashish was saying in our last article is also relevant here. Intelligence is going to be more abundant than anything. So think about that for a minute. Designing organizations and processes where intelligence is abundant. And then Ram saying, the adoption method has to be model independent so that you can take access, so you get access to that intelligence. And here's another example, but we're going to go optional on this one. All right, next.
But John, on that, we're already moving towards AI managing the AI intelligence choice. So I think that's going to continue to improve.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next one, Luda. We have Google launching a free AI coding assistant, very high usage caps. Google, finally getting out of its own way here. It's interesting. They're doing a lot of the inventing and then not commercializing as quickly. So they've got this thing out. I'm on this one, and terms of competing with GitHub, and their free AI coding assistant has higher usage caps. It's less cost, has a bigger context window, 200,000 tokens, but a real Me Too product here. Not clear if it's better or worse than the GitHub Copilot. Certainly doesn't have the adoption yet, but it's very much in the spirit of number two, we try harder, like the old Avis ad against Hertz, right? So I would give this an optional, maybe important, because coding is such a vital part of the use of AI in the enterprise. So I'm on the fence here. So help me out, guys. Push me one way or the other.
I was optional because it's a Me Too, but it's everybody wants to have a product in this space, and it seems like that's already happening. But I think the sort of populist vote is with Claude for coding.
Yep.
And specialized tools.
What do you think, Adam? Sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, I agree on both accounts, Luda. That this is a bit of a catch up, and I think some people might be surprised to realize that Google didn't already have something in market that could compete
Right.
in this space.
That
might be the headline here, but also that Claude Sonnet now at 3.7, right, is by far, I think, everyone's favorite. And for other businesses as a wrapper, if they're doing any sort of coding, whether it's something like Cursor or Replit, all of them are using Claude 3.7 as well. So this is a bit of a catch up. It's good news if you're a Google environment, but probably optional overall.
All right, optional it is. All right, next.
Okay. Do you see it? Yeah, you see it.
Yep. Yeah, we have this very interesting, very common problem of reading PDFs, and new competitor here. What do you think, Luda?
Yeah, I actually liked this very much. It's advancing reading unstructured data in PDFs forward with a speed that it's unprecedented and the ease of use. But there are other tools, and this is really an everyday miracle. So it was optional in my book, but it comes from Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence. They came up with an interesting method to actually dissect the PDF into sections, and that speeds it up before they process the sections, and that speeds it up quite a bit. It's an open source tool with weights and everything open, so this is cool, but it's everyday miracle in my book, optional.
Okay, we're heading for optional.
Maybe important, but really optional.
Adam,
you may see some of this in your day job in terms of
I was going to say the only thing I think that might be important here is that I don't think we've talked enough about the wave of AI readiness that is coming. There are so many organizations that have so many PDFs that are effectively unstructured data. And to extract the metadata and to understand what's in these, you need these types of things at the scale where you see the pricing is 1 million pages, right, for $190. So when you're talking about literally millions and potentially billions of pages, the cost and the efficiency and the design for these things so that you can process all that information and do it in a way that's financially viable becomes a big deal. So for that reason, I could see it being important. For the most part, like they talk about the example here, they say that as compared to using the GPT-4o API, it would be 1/32 of the cost, right? And at that, we've done some cost comparisons internally between GPT-4o using Vision and Microsoft's basically OCR application that they already have, and GPT-4o was quite a bit cheaper as well. So you're seeing again these orders of magnitude in cost reduction, which is an important part of the conversation when you're dealing with the number of PDFs that people are going to have to deal with. The fact that it's not Microsoft and it is an open source and people are going to have to either integrate it into some other product or roll their own probably means that it's not quite enterprise ready at this point. So I'd lean towards optional overall as well, but I can certainly see a case for why this is an important topic.
Yeah. I mean, Paul, what do you think? You and I have been dealing with clients running into a lot of this issue.
Yeah, I mean, PDFs is a massive thing here. I think Allen Institute continues to do really good work here. I think this is optional for the AI leader. But Adam, to your point, one of the biggest feedback we got from last year in our conference was to have a technical track, and we're starting to work on. And one of the things I want in the technical track is going deep on extracting value of PDFs here. But it is such a massive problem.
Yeah, it really is. I don't have facts on this, but my intuition would be that the PDFs are the format for the repository of the vast majority of unstructured data in organizations. And
I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think?
Email,
SharePoint.
Yeah. So
PowerPoint, Word.
Yeah. Captured notes. Yeah. So all kinds of things. Yeah.
I guess the one thing I would say though is that those don't require a vision language model, right? When you're doing PDF extraction, it's a different thing than when you have text documents. And so in some ways, text documents you could challenge is structured data because it's in text format. It's truly unstructured when you have a PDF and it isn't text, right? It is literally just the images, and a lot of things are literally just scans off a copier from 10 years ago, and those PDFs are stored somewhere, and you don't even know what the text in them is. So that's the challenge of that problem, and using a vision language model as really the best solution is a whole next level.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about RAGs, right, and feeding RAGs with examples and data, that's where PDF come into real big play, right? So because you have to, examples are usually in that form.
Once again, beating the hell out of the optional news, Paul.
I know, it's our core competency, Adam.
All right, the optional it is. Next.
And John, just before you go on, I just asked OpenAI Deep Research to break down unstructured data. So give it 6 minutes.
All righty, we'll do. All right. Here we get the story of BNY Mellon, the bank I didn't realize was founded by Alexander Hamilton, using armies of AI agents to be more efficient. What do you think here, Adam?
Yeah, so this is certainly an interesting article. I think in the pregame I was on the fence between optional and important. I'll explain a little more. So what they've done is that the tool they have internally is called ELIZA, and it's basically an aggregate of a bunch of agents that each is effectively a tool. So that this multi-agent architecture can help the sales team make recommendations to clients, and it has access to a bunch of different agent resources. So there might be one that looks at the products they have, another one that will consult with them about what to position. And so they've sort of stitched together this architecture. It's an interesting approach. I found the article a little light on the details about exactly what they did. So I was kind of on the fence in terms of it being optional or important.
I rated it as optional. I really think that it's with the, like we talked about JP Morgan yesterday, same here. It's a philosophy that matters, and they really decided that it's not a replacement, and it is the support function, and the faster the integration of data, so that the users don't need to go to many departments to ask questions to address the customer request, right? So this is a philosophy that comes through in this article. So and it's highly regulated, and they managed it, right? And they have a number of agents in production. So I think it's important.
All right, Paul. Keep the democracy alive here. Huh?
Absolutely important for all the reasons Luda said. And again, kudos to VentureBeat. I mean, we continue to see AWS as the gold standard in things. One article from BCG, but VentureBeat continues to have a good set of use cases.
Right. And also, John, to the article, we talked about that you don't want to get married to a model. They actually stated they want to be independent, and they want to actually experiment with the models. And so that also comes through. That's important.
All right. We making the case for essential here.
And interestingly enough, they're actually using open source software to manage their agents that Microsoft produces called AutoGen.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And experiment with it.
Yeah,
No,
it's got a lot of good things to highlight. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I wouldn't go essential, John, because it's light on the impact. It's kind of, you can deduct it from here, but it doesn't state it.
Yeah, very, very light on impact. All right, important it is. Next.
Oops, it's all at the end of the articles. Says that I read them. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so how I don't know the right way to pronounce this, IDIATA optimizes the intelligent chatbot within Amazon Bedrock. I was going to give this an optional. This article, talks a lot about this App Plus environment that they have created for manufacturing environments, and it goes through a lot of use cases and specific code and capability in terms of how it is then routing the request to different models and optimizes the resource use within Amazon Bedrock. I found it a very hard article to digest in terms of, I think it's just really poorly written in terms of, there's very little setup as to what the article's trying to do for you. It kind of reminded me of Boston street signs. Boston street signs are great. They work really well if you already know where you're going. But if you don't know where you're going, they don't make any sense. And that was my overall impression of this article. So I was going to give it an optional because it's very much a product announcement poorly written. What do you guys think?
Well, okay. I was actually between optional and important. And the reason for important is like they say it in this paragraph, really. It's a process undertaken to develop. So they showcase the process undertaken to develop a classifier for human interactions, right? And with the bot. So, and it is non-trivial to do that. So and pretty much every bot will go down. So what happened with them, they put out a bot and then realized that people were asking different types of things and wanted to optimize those cases that people were asking most of for, right? So, and that's when they went down and they explain how they rolled, and you can skip that stuff. But the important thing is at the end of the article, the impact of their classifier and efficiency they've gotten is dramatic. The 1,000 queries a day, 95% accuracy, and 20-something% improvement in time. So it's quite good. So that's why important for me.
Yeah, I mean I think their taxonomy is conversation services or document interpretation. And I guess fair enough. I was surprised that gross level kind of classification gave them so much improvement. So, and certainly the document interpretation one rhymes with some of the stuff we're just saying about PDFs. In terms of an important way to do it. And I certainly agree that a parser in the front of a request or right behind a request is going to be an essential part of the model management and efficiency. So yeah, okay, I could get to import. What do you, Paul, Adam? What do you guys think?
Yeah, Luda, you make some great points, and there are great points in here to highlight. I don't know how a reader would be able to extract them. Most of the people that would have to, what they would have to get through to get that, to John's point. If up front they made it a little more clear where they were taking us and what they were going to be showing, I think it would be easier. But there's just sort of, it's like you're constantly in this no context window. And you're sort of following along, but you're trying to understand why they're telling you all these things the entire time. It just made it really difficult to extract any value from it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I skipped it. I actually read the front, skipped the rigmarole.
And then you're like, okay, they did a thing and it had these amazing results.
And then I could follow.
But they didn't just say that. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. So for that, reason maybe. Or maybe we say, look, Skip the middle.
You know, maybe it is an important though, right? If people want to lean into it, and this is an important concept for them to get around, it's worth at least having on the radar. We're certainly not saying they have to.
Yeah, I would be curious what Lucinda thinks, because I know she has been thinking about classifiers. So they're not easy to do, and so this rambling right in the middle, it just shows how they went through it and thought about it and changed it and blah. So it might be important for a lot of folks, actually.
What do you think here, Paul? We got an article that would have been better written by a robot.
Optional.
Okay, let's go. It's fine.
All right, democracy lives. Optional it is. Next.
Okay, the last one.
Yeah.
It's for fun.
What's that? Oh,
it's for fun.
For fun, yeah. The here we have where can Claude play Pokemon? And that is, Pokemon is not something I have played, but certainly my kids have. What do you think here, Adam?
Yeah, like I mean, this is definitely optional. First of all, we threw this in just because it's a fun little post, and it sort of goes through the history of their trying to get their Anthropic get their Claude model to actually play Pokemon, and certainly with the onset of some of the newer versions of Claude 3.5 Sonnet. If you scroll down, you'll see at first they couldn't really do much of anything, and then at one point Claude wrote a letter. Oh, you don't have the rest of the.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I see. That's all right. So they actually, at one point, Claude wrote a letter to the people who make the game and formally requested that they reset the game and allow them to start over. and then eventually, with time, as the newer 3.5 Sonnet came out and they started having some of that computer use and vision with screenshots, they were actually able to successfully get the character to play the game and defeat a monster, and you can sort of see how in some ways it's the evolution of these intelligent systems. And then with 3.7 Sonnet that's out now, it's gotten quite good at the game. So it's interesting to see kind of this relatable real world example of the progression of this intelligence, but certainly optional news.
Yeah, fascinating. I mean, this whole notion of agency, that it would go and write the letter and say, I think that's. I think we're just getting used to the idea that the machines actually have intent. Paul, where are you on this?
Optional. Good discussion. Fun discussion. Optional.
All righty, optional it is. All right. So, any announcements or anything?
I'm doing a TED Talk today at TEDx Boston. So wish me well. We're going to be talking about the impact or practical things AI leaders and companies need to do. Second is, I continue to be just blown away by OpenAI's open research thing here. And during the call here, I just asked to get the Go structure, to do analysis, figure out all the different types of unstructured data in companies here, and come back with a pie chart. And Adam, our robots are still working, so we don't have an answer that fits in a time frame. But it is breathtaking what it can do, and the fact it's getting commoditized so quickly with Claude and others remains a really important thing that people just aren't aware of. I mean, I was at a AI early stage firm, Glass Ventures, Ruta's firm yesterday, Luda, at an event in the morning here. I mean, they were senior people from Fidelity and everything else, and none of them had heard about OpenAI, and these are people, that are in the mix here. So,
yeah, I think this whole advancement of the professional class. I mean, what's going to do the professional class and science and so forth? I don't think people have started to understand yet. I did an article in Forbes yesterday about the robots coming for your lab coat, and I'm down here at the Lake Nona Impact Forum, which is it's kind of like the Davos for medical stuff, for healthy living and new technologies and so forth. I can't wait to see what kind of reflection of all these capabilities in AI that have changed so much in the past 12 months are going to be in the presentations and so forth. So anyway, here we have our tote board. New generation is our only essential. One important in terms of BNY Mellon, good example, and the rest optional. All right. Anything else before we go?
Yeah,
No, but let's,
What's that?
good luck to Paul.
Yes, good luck,
yeah.
Paul.
thank you. Yeah, my first TED talk. The robots are still running, but let's follow up tomorrow's news and see what the robot today said about the characterization. I did do a quick one on ChatGPT, and John, they also talked about meter data as unstructured data in companies here, which I thought was also a really good reservoir data.
Yeah, no, I think you guys are right. That I think your comebacks make a ton of sense in terms of other data, but there's a ton of it out there. All righty, talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye bye now.